think it might be time for a new computer because
what? It's kind of bowing out there. Kind of, it's got like see that how it curves around. I shouldn't be able to do this. Like what the junk? I don't want to close. No closing for you.
Draw Jam! I kind of noticed my laptop was trying to expand physically in ways that it probably wasn't designed to do around the time of Apple's One More Thing event where they announced all the new fangled M1 devices. I am not a tech tuber, so I don't have a lot of educated insights on the latest gear. I love gear. I love playing with gear. I love looking at the new fangled thing because everybody likes the new thing. But my focus is mostly, can I use this new thing to draw with? So if I sound like a complete idiot talking about the M1 chips and Apple Silicon in general, please know that I am a complete idiot. One of my first questions after watching the M1 keynote, besides what the fuck is this chart trying to tell me? Can I use an M1 device in my workflow? Besides drawing comics, I do a lot of motion graphics and I do some 3D on the side, modeling for collectibles and all that kind of stuff. So if I can do it on a 2015 MacBook Pro, certainly I can do it on an M1 powered MacBook Air or MacBook Pro or a Mac Mini. But it turns out not right away. Certainly if your workflow depends on Apple programs to begin with, like if you do most of your video editing in Final Cut Pro, if you do most of your motion graphics in Apple Motion, if you do all your audio stuff in Logic, you're good to go. From all the benchmarks that I've seen, from all the practical use cases that I've seen from the tech tubers, shit is fast. Shit just works like it's supposed to. When it comes to the Adobe suite of programs, not so much. Some people are saying that it works really well. Some people are saying it doesn't work so well. I will link you to a review from Nerdy's Art Lab where he tried to open Photoshop and create a new file and the thing just crashed. So it seems like some of the Adobe programs running in emulation Rosetta 2 don't quite work. There is a Photoshop beta out there, so maybe that works a little bit better. But according to another tech YouTuber in the art space that I follow, Brad Colbo, Wacom drivers aren't supported and Huion drivers aren't supported yet. So even if the Photoshop beta running natively in M1 is the sauce, you can't draw with it. There's that old adage that, the tools don't matter. It's the hands behind the tools. Like, I'm sure if Jimi Hendrix picked up an old beater from a pawn shop, like a $20 guitar, he could make that sucker scream and shit like that. But, sometimes it is the tools. Like, if there's no driver support, you ain't drawing shit. So I was initially somewhat intrigued when they said that iPad and iPhone apps will work natively on M1 devices. I do a lot of my cartooning in Clip Studio Paint, which runs beautifully on the iPad Pro. I've been interested in Fresco on the desktop because if you're running Windows, you can run Fresco on the desktop. If you have Mac OS X, you can't really run Fresco here. So under M1, Big Sur running Fresco on the desktop, maybe that takes care of a lot of the complaints I have with Photoshop. We won't get into that right now. Also, Procreate on a desktop, that also intrigued me, but according to Nerdy's Art Lab, it's not available. You can't download Procreate for M1 just yet. So that's a disappointment. Even if I wanted to have all that stuff running on the desktop, wouldn't matter because you can't draw shit if you don't have drivers. If you are a cartoonist or an illustrator, anything that depends on you drawing a thing with a computer, I don't think you should be an early adopter to these M1 devices. Now, that isn't to say that they aren't great. If you work in Premiere or Illustrator or After Effects programs that don't require you to draw things, but you can still plug in a mouse and do stuff that way, it seems like the M1 chip is amazing. And now there are even rumors of future devices that are coming out next year. And by then, I'm sure all of this stuff will be worked out. All of the tablet companies will have drivers that work natively. All of your favorite drawing programs will be amazing. You can run them. You can draw things faster than you ever thought you could draw before. That's not really how this works at all. I wish drawing on a computer made me draw faster. The thing that drawing on a computer does that you don't get when you're drawing in physical media is corrections are much faster. You don't have to rescan your inks and line them up and do all that kind of stuff. You could just erase and fix it like that. So in that sense, when you need to make corrections to your work, perhaps that part of the workflow is faster. Also, painting is a lot less messy and you don't have to wait for colors to dry before you keep going digitally. So I guess those are, some big advantages and stuff, but it will not make you draw faster. More processing power, more cores, more RAM isn't going to help you draw faster. Like it might track the pen like you're drawing on actual paper. Like it might be a 1-to-1 instead of like microseconds of delay, but you draw as fast as you draw, whether it's on a computer or on a piece of paper. So eventually, all the software and drivers that you as a cartoonist use to make your digital artwork pretty, it's going to catch up to the Apple Silicon devices and you'll be good to go. But if you're looking to upgrade now because for some reason your computer is about to physically explode, I don't necessarily think Apple products are a good choice. And I'm not sure Apple is a good choice to begin with if we're talking about a workstation style thing. Like, not an iPad. I think the iPads are great for what they do and they're very useful. And I won't get into that. But if you're looking for something a little bit more powerful, if you're looking for like a laptop or a desktop, I'm not sure Apple is the way to go. And this is where my weaknesses in the tech field will show. So forgive me if I sound like a fucking idiot, and please correct me in the comments below if you have more informed opinions. When you buy a Mac device, you're purchasing a sort of time capsule, a locked box, if you will. Apple's idea of that year of what the best version of that particular device could be. Even going forward with the M1 transition, it's even more locked down. You can't upgrade the RAM, you can't upgrade the graphics card, you can't upgrade the chip. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're gonna come out with new versions where you could just swap out the chip and not have to purchase a whole new device. But as it stands now, your only path to upgrading your Mac device is to buy a new one. So, in 5 years, if your new M1 device is not doing its thing, you can't just swap out the chip. I don't know. Maybe they might come up with that. I don't think so. Apple doesn't like you messing with the innards of its stuff. So let's just assume that the M1 you get is what you get. And they don't want you to get upset, but you're going to get upset because it's going to fail at some point. And you can't really swap the parts out. So your only recourse is to chuck it and get a new one. And, they talk a lot about being eco-friendly. Buying a whole new device isn't really that eco-friendly. On the PC side, and this may be where my ignorance of hardware will show. So if I say some dumb shit, just know that it's because I'm not a hardware person. I know software. I know how to use these programs, but I don't know how to build anything like on the hardware side. But my impression is that when you get a PC, you can swap out components. You can do it, maybe next year a new graphics card will come out. So you can swap that out if you can get one. Maybe faster RAM comes out. You could swap that out. Maybe a new chip comes out. You can swap that out. So, eventually if you have your same PC, your same case for long enough, you're going to eventually buy a whole new PC, but you're going to do it in stages. You're not going to have to chuck it at once and purchase a whole big new thing at once. And that kind of appeals more to me. I feel like I like what this laptop does. I like the screen. I like the keyboard because the 2015 MacBook Pro came out before the butterfly keys, the bullshit keys that everyone fucking hated. This is a nice enough keyboard. It does what I need it to do. And I like it. And if I could stick a eGPU on the side and keep it running, I would do that. But this thing, you can't put an eGPU on it. This came out like before they put that capability into the MacBooks. And now going forward, M1 on, you can't do that anyway. So even if you wanted to use an eGPU with the new Macs, you can't do that. So it just seems to me that if you're interested in keeping up to date with your hardware, the PC side of computers might be a better way to go. Now, if all you want to do is do digital art, I think you're in luck because there are so many devices out there for you to choose from. You've got tablets that come with pens. Android has a huge suite of drawing programs now. Clip is on Android now, so that's friggin' awesome. Microsoft has a bunch of tablets. There's a bunch of 2-in-1s laptops that turn into tablets that you can use. The iPads are great for drawing. You don't have to get an iPad, but if you like the shiny hotness, I gotta say the iPad Pro has kind of won me over in terms of, you know, its usefulness as an art tool. So, you know, my tattoo artist, she designed this tattoo on her iPad and then stuck it on my arm. So there are so many devices for you to choose from as a digital artist. I don't think it matters. I think you can get, you know, this holiday season when there are sales out there, get the best thing that you can afford. But like, I don't know, the days of worrying about RAM and processing speed. I mean, I think even a mid-tier laptop can get you pretty far in terms of digital art. Now, if you're wanting to do more intricate stuff like CG rendering and modeling and particle effects and motion graphics, that's when I think some of this stuff matters a lot more. If all I had to do was draw, I think this 2015 laptop would still work. I would put it in the ice every once in a while to prevent it from bowing out more. But I do a lot of motion graphics, and I do a lot of CG, and I do a lot of 3D modeling and things like that. And it's starting to chunk a little bit and starting to overheat a little bit. And I thought that maybe the M1 chips and Apple Silicon would be a good thing to hop into, so I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, changing the way I do things. It's not that I hate Windows. I'm just lazy. You know, I have something that works, and clearly I will stick with it until it stops working. So laptops probably aren't meant to last 5 years doing what I do to them. So I think my next computer is going to be a PC. And I've been annoying the hell out of my friends about like, well, what should I buy? Or should I buy this? Or what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? But yeah, I think if all you're looking to do is digital art, sky's the limit. The world is your oyster. You can get a good machine for cheap. If you are attracted to the Apple devices, I would say wait a little bit until maybe next year when everybody catches up to what the M1 can do. It's impressive, not gonna lie. All the tech tubers have really done a good job of hyping this shit up, and even things that are emulated on Rosetta are impressive enough, except for when Photoshop crashes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's a good time to get into digital art because of all of the variety and options that you have. And I would encourage you to find other YouTubers out there who talk about that stuff, because I stick with one thing and I use it. I would review tech. I mean, if somebody sends me a thing to review, I will review it, but I am not I'm not a tech channel. My view is that, you know, use what you can and figure out how to push it to its limit. And then if it breaks, get a new thing. So this is a very long, rambly way of me saying that I think Apple Silicon needs a little bit more bake time, at least for us cartoonists, which is weird because our power needs and computing needs are way, way less than the video editors and things like that who are happy as shit with this new stuff. So I don't know, man. I kind of feel like, once again, us illustrators, us cartoonists are left out in the cold to fend for ourselves. So if you have hardware recommendations, or if you build PCs, or if you have a good place to build PCs, let me know. because I'm new to that side of things, but I'm gonna hop in because I don't want this to explode on me, and I like the idea of being able to upgrade incrementally rather than just chucking something out and buying a whole new thing. All right, it's gonna be it. Be safe, everybody, and look out for each other, and thanks for checking this out, my rambly ass video. All right, bye.